name is Ronald Dako and I'm the project manager of the Aggresso implementation at Slough Borough Council. This Aggresso project Myriad is working on is relating to the implementation of HR into Slough Borough Council. It's a very large project because it impacts the whole organization, every employee and manager, so it's about 1,100 people. Slough Borough Council is already live on finance, with the finance module, and procurement. And so this implementation is relating to HR self-service, so absences, expenses, timesheets, and a number of other HR modules. Some of the benefits that Slough Borough Council is going to get from this new project is the movement in effect from a paper-based system to an electronic-based system. And currently, if we take an example of expenses, an employee has to enter a form and send all their physical expense receipts to the central finance department for processing. And what we see is that first of all, it's quite a long process. It takes a lot of time. Sometimes receipts get lost on their manager's table, and when it gets to the central organization, they have to rekey all this information into Aggresso, which means in effect that they are always paid not in the current month but a month later. With this new system, decentralized, we don't have the issue where receipts get lost. They don't need to keep the hard copy. The electronic copy on the system is enough. Once they enter it into the system and it's processed in payroll, they can get paid within the same month. So there are 7 key items that I feel are essential to a successful Aggresso implementation. The first thing is to have the right balance of consultants. The second is to go through the correct processes of implementation. And these processes are to hold workshops, solution design, write a solution design, do the build, do the functional system testing, UAT, build in live, training, cover a pilot, and then go live. The third item is the location of the project team. I think it's really important that the project team merges with the client's team, in this case HR department, so that there's a good level of trust between them. The fourth item is the tool that you use as a project manager with the team. And using a smart tool, we've used Smartsheet, and this allows for better communication and transparency and real-time project management. The fifth item is communication with the organization, to manage expectations and to make sure that the organization as a whole is ready for the go-live implementation. For us, we've done it so many times, it's a very big thing, but for the organization, it's the first time. The sixth item is the pilot. It's important to run a pilot so that you can iron out all the little bugs before go-live. And the last item is my personal opinion that the project manager that runs such a project has a lot of detailed Aggresso experience, so that he's able to anticipate things ahead of time and have a good plan B, and also to run detailed project plans with detailed knowledge of the Aggresso tasks that are involved in the project. These 10 stages of the process, so these are the implementation stages that we go through from the start to the end, and the end is then the successful go-live. When we start with the client, we hold a series of workshops with the client to understand how they're working, how they are currently using their systems, and how the new system is going to impact them. Once we've gathered all this information, we move to the second stage, which is then writing a solution design document. And this document outlines how the new system, in this case Aggresso, is going to be built and how it's going to improve the processes that, in this case, Slough Borough Council is currently doing. The third stage is the build, and that's the actual build of the system, where the consultants go away and take all this information that they've built up in the workshops and that they've written in the solution design and build the system so that it's ready for the customer. The fourth is then the functional system testing, and we go through a series of tests to make sure that the system can handle performance, it can handle all the various codes and structure that the council is using. We run some 200 tests just for the absence process of HR. The fifth item in the process is then called UAT, which is user acceptance testing. And this is when we give the system to a number of key users of the system at Slough Borough Council, and they test it. So they test it based on test scripts that we have provided to them, along with test scripts that they have written themselves of the normal day-to-day use of the system. They go through this process, and in this project it took approximately 6 weeks to get this testing done. All these tests are written, documented, and we go through a pass or fail. If there are any fails, they are then corrected and then signed off after it's passed. The sixth stage is we build the system then in the live environment, out of hours, after all the testing, in this case UAT, is passed. The seventh stage of the process is training. And we've put a lot into training. We worked with High Point to train about 1,100 people. It's still in the process, going through. The eighth stage of this process is then handling a pilot. Pilot is then ensuring that we test the system in a real live environment with just a smaller group of the clients to ensure that it's fine-tuned before the real big go live. Number 9 of the process is the actual go live and then the support that comes after it. So what I'm going through here, I mentioned before the 7 stages and the 7 items that I think are required or necessary for a successful Aggresso project. The first I mentioned was the right balance of consultants. The second was to go through these 10 processes, which I just mentioned. The third is the location of the build team. What we've done in this project is to have the whole build team or project team. We are sitting with the HR department. So we are not at a different location and we communicate at some distance with the HR department. We are literally sitting with them. So they can learn how we work and we can learn how they work on a day-to-day basis. What happens there is that they begin to trust us. We can understand how they are working. And after a period of time, it becomes their project as well. So we can manage their expectations, and they take a lot more responsibility on the project as a whole. Number 4 is the tool we are using. Now, we are using a tool called Smartsheet. It's easy to use. It is just like an Excel spreadsheet. It's a merge between a spreadsheet and a project management tool, which is online. So it gives transparency because we give the client access to this spreadsheet so they can see all the stages of our development. They can see all the tasks that we are working on. They can see when tasks are finished, who is doing it, all the discussions and comments and issues that are relating to these tasks. And these tasks are covering all stages of the design, the build. And I think this is really key in keeping the client informed, keeping the team informed of these stages. It also, in practice, has helped us reduce the number of meetings we hold. Number 5 is communication. We have put a lot into communication with Slough Borough Council. And what we've done is we've created a number of quick cards for every stage of the new process that's going to affect the customer. And these quick cards are A4 cards on all the processes. We have standing posters all over the building, which helps the awareness of this project that is going to change their lives in effect. It's a big culture change to the client. This change, we need to manage expectations, and they're going to really change the way they're working, so this communication is quite important. What we've also done is we've created e-learning tools. Different people have different ways they want to learn and to absorb information. So just creating one learning tool is not enough. So we've done quick cards. We are training every single person in the organization. We do have user champions who are getting extra training, and these user champions will then better support the organization, because these user champions are located at different physical locations within each department in the organization. We also are creating video tutorials We've also set up drop-in sessions, so when some employees or even user champions have more complex questions, they can just come into that drop-in session, which is a meeting room, and they can ask these specific questions. And the sixth item is a pilot. Before going with a big bang go live with such a large organization, it's important to have a pilot, and that pilot helps you iron out the bugs. So we are going for SBC, Slough Borough Council, with a pilot on 3 departments, so that's DSO, transport and libraries. And that's really going to help them and help us and get the system just one stage closer to going into successful implementation. And the last item is a project manager, which in this case is myself. I think it's important, that's a personal belief, that the project manager should have a lot of detailed experience in Aggresso. And this enables the project manager to better plan detailed tasks in the project along with the time, how long it takes. If you don't have that detailed Aggresso experience as a project manager, you're very reliant on your project team to tell you how long something takes. And when you do that and you have a big team, in some cases the build team can overestimate how long things take. And I think this is one of the reasons why certain projects get delayed and don't meet their targets or the go live date. Also, if you're a project manager who has a lot of experience, detailed experience on Aggresso, you're able to write detailed project plans. And when I say detailed, it means that it includes all the various steps of building the system and taking it live. And all that detail is in the project plan. I think is really helpful for the successful implementation of the project. And finally, forward thinking. If you have a lot of experience with Aggresso as a project manager, you can think really far ahead and plan the circumstances and areas where it just might fail, and you're prepared for that. So these are the 7 items that I think are required for a successful Aggresso project. So I've been working on this project about 10 months, and we are currently at the pilot stage, which means that we have we've done the build, we've done the testing, and we have done the first stages of training. So we are training the whole organization, and that is still ongoing, and the pilot is now starting. So we will go live in about 1.5 months.